For decades, without hyperbole, the Jeep Wrangler has been the ultimate expression of freedom, outdoorsiness, ruggedness. That's why today we'll be reviewing the big daddy of them all, the JL Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4x4. And I know you guys will agree, this is the main character of cars. Now, the Jeep Wrangler JL has been first introduced since 2018, and since then, it's experienced a couple of refreshes, and this is the latest one for 2024. You'd notice that this time around, it's got this nice bezel around the headlamps and the iconic 7-slat grille that they have right here. If you notice, the grille really isn't that separated that much. In fact, it's one entire grille with these honeycomb inserts, but they still were able to put in these 7 dividers right here to signify that this is definitely a Jeep. You definitely don't need a Jeep badge here because this grille is the Jeep badge right there. Now, being the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon variant, you do have this camera up front. It doesn't have a 360-degree camera system, but this is the trail camera. This actually helps out a lot, especially when you're out on the trail, making sure that you don't have any obstacles on the road. You got this plastic bumper right here with the red tow hooks, signifying that this is the Rubicon variant. And yeah, you got these air vents here on top as well that make sure that the engine is well insulated and well cooled. You got LED headlamps, LED fog lamps, as well as DRLs. It's got the Halo DRL right here, as well as one more DRL right here on each end, as well as the turn signals. The Unlimited variant signifies that this is the 5-door, so it's got some doors for the rear passengers. If it doesn't have an Unlimited to it, that's the 3-door variant of the Jeep Wrangler. Again, going back to the cameras up top, it helps out with the advanced driver assist systems. In this case right here, it has adaptive cruise control, which definitely helps out. Now, one thing that you'd notice here, you got some hooks on top. Some people actually use that to hang some stuff whenever they're off-roading. But these are actually some sort of guides so that you can actually fold the front windshield down all the way here, and it won't scratch the paint. Before I head over to the side profile of the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon, there are a couple of things on the front there that I failed to tell you more about. He's got this heavy-duty skid plate underneath to help the engine, because you're definitely going to take this off-road. You have these hooks right here on the hood. This is how you actually close it down, and you have the Rubicon badge on the hood as well, and it has a red outline to it. Red is the theme, overall theme of the Rubicon variant. In fact, it's got it right here as well, trail rated. It is listed in red, as well as the Jeep badge and the Wrangler badge as well. If you notice, the center cap of the 17-inch two-tone alloy wheels also has a silhouette of the Jeep Wrangler. As you notice here, that's the old school Jeep right there, and I appreciate that little Easter egg that they put in there. But the star of the show, for me at least, are these 36-inch wheels. I mean, look at this one. These are 285 430 R17 tires, and these are BF Goodrich tires as well, all-terrain, definitely really chunky, but definitely doesn't help out with road noise, especially when going down the highway. But you will want that to complete the overall look of the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. You have almost a foot of ground clearance. This is 10.8 inches of ground clearance right here, and it really helps out if you don't have the step board option right there, because you can experience the full length of the whole ground clearance right there. You look at this, it's actually almost reaching my knee up top. It really doesn't help out whenever you try to get in and out of the vehicle, but thankfully Jeep offers a step board as optional. But you do have this really chunky, really hardcore side rails right here, again, to help out whenever you're going to go off-roading or probably heading over to the grocery. But yes, this completes the look, and I love it. You got manually folding side mirrors. These are huge. I'll be talking more about these because these things do have a particular quirk to them. You won't get any roof rails up top. Again, all those things are optional, but in this case right here, you got the 3-piece hardtop. It's removable. It may take a little bit of effort to take these off, and you might want to ask a friend to help you out. But yes, the one way to drive this is with the top down, no problems. You also notice this exposed hinges on the side doors here. That's because Jeep does allow you to take these doors off and totally go not just topless but doorless as well. Something I really appreciate. One thing about the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon though is that the side fenders here are made of plastic. That is again by design, because for people who want to take this off-road, these things do get damaged, and when they do, it's easily replaceable. The side fenders though are raised a little bit higher up, and that's to make sure that it has enough clearance to fit in these large wheels. Now, as a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon owner, I mean, if you want to take this off-road, these might not be enough for a lot of people, so they would be upgrading this to larger tires. But thankfully, with the Rubicon here, you got enough space to put them in. It has at least a rain gutter on top to make sure that everything is nice and dry. You got LED tail lamps right here. Again, plastic bumpers here, as well as the red tow hook, signifying that this is a Rubicon variant. You still have this swing type door here, help you out, and it is a 2-level door where you can actually open up the rear windows here, giving you access to all this space inside. Underneath the floorboard here, you have a compartment to actually put in some stuff. I mean, it's got a drain plug there. You know what that means. This is the ultimate tailgating car. You can put some ice in there, put all your beer, all your sodas. It'll make sure to keep them cool. And once you're done, just drain out the plug there. Easy peasy. I absolutely love how this car works. You got exposed roll cages here. You got a 12-volt power socket, as well as an Alpine subwoofer there. I mean, everything that you want and need in a car. This is the ultimate package when it comes to the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and Jeep Philippines did not hold anything back. What I do love here is this badge, JL. You know, this is a JL one. And it is made in the USA. That's right, developed in Auburn Hills, Michigan, and built in Toledo, Ohio. It's an American car through and through, and I love it. All right, so we're inside the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon 4x4. Gee, that's a lot of words. Get ready for this, guys, because red stitching will be the theme for the interior here, because you've got everything in red. This nice steering wheel does have red stitching as well, but it does, you know, adjust itself for both reach and rake, which is much appreciated. And you got a digital gauge. No, you don't have a digital gauge cluster. You got a digital display here to get all your information, and it is very comprehensive. It still has these analog gauges to give you all the information you need when you're driving. Now, even though it's an American car made in the USA, I'm glad that they were able to localize this and put it kilometers per hour right here. I'm sure that they were able to put that for international markets, but hey, I'm glad that they didn't put MPH, instead they put KMH. That's something that I really appreciate. Now here, you got these nice AC vents in the middle of this huge 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Finally, the Rubicon has this huge touchscreen. No more of that 7-inch style, which is okay, which is all right. But here, you've got, this is definitely a game changer for me. The touch sensitivity is good. It's got good responsiveness right here. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Not the wireless type though, but that is absolutely fine. You know what I keep telling you guys, I do appreciate wired instead of wireless because of how stable the connection is. Now here you can actually check out more stuff. You got offline navigation. That's right, you got maps here. So if you don't have any cell reception, you can actually use that right there. You don't have, well, you can definitely update that through Jeep Philippines, but right here, it seems to be pretty updated. You also have these HVAC controls here. Unfortunately, you don't get any cooled seats, but you do have heated seats, which is, I don't know how useful that's going to be for the Philippines, but hey, you got cool heated seats. I do wish it had cooled seats instead though. One thing that's new with the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon for 2024 is that you got power operated seats. Power seats here for the driver as well as for the passenger, which is something that I really appreciate. Up top, you don't get any sound insulation right here. In fact, instead you get this fiberglass board here. Again, these are removable, a 3-piece top. So in order to remove this, you need to remove the driver's side first, then the passenger, then the rear. You definitely need a friend to help you out with removing that. Underneath the touchscreen infotainment system, You got manual controls for your volume. This is automatic climate control, by the way. This is dual zone automatic climate control. You have your nice knobs here, as well as a two USB ports, one USB-C and one USB-A, and a 12-volt power socket. The power windows are operated right here as switches in the middle. I'll tell you why in a bit. As well as exclusive to the Rubicon, these ones right here. You got 4 aux switches. So if you want to customize your car, you can just put it right there. So one thing that's really exclusive to the Rubicon right here is our controls for both the front and rear locking differentials. You can actually lock them or open them up, as well as disconnect the sway bar. This is more off-roading stuff than you would ever need, but I'm just glad that they were able to put it here in the Rubicon variant of the Wrangler Unlimited. This is definitely over the top for me, but what is much appreciated for me, this button right here. This is the adaptive cruise control button, so you can definitely help you out when driving down the highway. It does not have lane keep assist or lane departure warning though, which is kind of a bummer, but then again, who would need that in the Wrangler Rubicon? The side mirrors might take a little bit getting used to, but I'll be telling you right now. The one right here, it actually seems a little bit odd because it seems to be magnified much more than usual. And the reason behind that is that it actually adds a little bit more safety. I do have a rule before merging into another lane, is that as soon as I see the headlamps of the car beside me, I can then merge onto the lane here. That's pretty much the same thought that they have to the side mirrors right here on the left. If you can see both of the headlamps of the car right here, you're safe to go to the next lane. I think that's what Jeep was trying to implement, but in my case here, that's what they have as well. Now, the reason why you've got the switches right here in the middle for the side windows is because these doors, they are detachable. So apart from being, for having the capability of going topless, you can actually remove the doors as well. And remember in the back, they actually have some nice slots there to put in all the bolts and the screws so you won't lose them, as well as you know what screw that's for. So if you remove this bolts and screws right here, you can just put it there in small slots and small holes in the back. So the center armrest, nicely padded, one of the better ones I gotta say. It's 2 levels, so you got one here, it's pretty shallow. See, I got my earphones, and one really deep one with a USB port right there as well, a second USB port, well, a second USB A port, just one USB-C here, and another Easter egg here. You got the old school Jeep Wrangler there on top of the shifter, which is nice and chunky, I gotta say, with manual controls, and this another shifter to choose the drive mode you want to go. Right now I'm on 2H, and then we could go to 4H, 4H, N, and 4L. Again, more off-roady stuff and a nice chunky. All right, so getting in the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon might take a little bit of effort, especially if your variant or your model does not have a step board. Yeah, you got 10.8 inches of ground clearance to clear, but once you're inside, it's fairly comfortable. I mean, I'm riding behind my own natural driving position right here, but I still have a lot of space for my knees here and my feet, but most especially headroom. See, I'm 5'10.5", and I've got a really long torso compared to the rest of my body, but hey, I still have a lot of space. So even if you're a 6-footer, you can sit behind fairly comfortably. Although, this right here would be blocking your way. This is a speaker up top. They place a speaker on top of here so that in case you want to take the doors off, go off-roading, make everything wet inside. That's another thing she said. You can actually just make sure that these are nice and nice and dry. My favorite feature, a socket right here. It's 115 volts, by the way. This is definitely an American car. They work with 110 volts there, so make sure that you have your appliances are auto volt. So if you put in your hair dryer there, or an ironing board or ironing machine, and it's 220 volts only, it's not going to work. But if you use one of your chargers or your adapters for your laptop, and you see that it is auto volt, it will work with that. Again, something to keep in mind. It does have a nice center armrest that goes down Nice and chunky armrest, I have to say. And can actually extend it forward, but that would look awkward. Right there. And a nice slot for your phone in the middle. One thing that I do notice though is that even though you're riding in a 4x4 vehicle, because of how high up the car is or how high up the chassis is, still have a fairly flat floor, which puts every other car for me with a large center tunnel in the back into question, because if Jeep was able to do it, why can't you? I mean, you still have the same mats here. You do have a you still have the the window controls here as well, an AC control. Yeah, even though you're riding in the back, still very comfortable, and still have a lot of well, visibility inside the Jeep Wrangler is great. I mean, like all Wranglers, I mean, it's just one box. You don't have anything that really hinders your way from looking all around. So yeah, it's not very claustrophobic at all, which is quite surprising, because a lot of cars that are supposedly more ergonomic, so more practical, supposed to say, have less visibility than this one. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon 4x4. Whew, that's a lot of words, I gotta say. So right now, driving this particular model, the Rubicon, I'm just gonna call it Rubicon moving forward. Driving the Rubicon, it's definitely far off from what I remember Jeeps in general. Now, Jeeps, they're rough and tumble vehicles, and whenever you're on the highways or in city streets, it's not gonna be something that you would want to drive. But this one, it feels more tame. So under the hood, you've got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that makes around 275 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque. That's a lot of power. It even has more torque than the outgoing V6. You've got 2 live axles right here, the front and in the back. Plus, you can actually electronically lock them and disconnect the sway bars as well. That's the main difference that the Rubicon has over the sport variant that we earlier reviewed. And the springs, the suspension, actually helps out a lot with the comfort of the vehicle. This is surprisingly comfortable. It's like Apple. Once you release a new one, you're gonna automatically buy it, but their challenge is grabbing new fans. And I am a fan. Now that engine, putting the power down, 0 to 100 can be attained in just 7.5 seconds. And it's more rear wheel bias, especially when you're in 2H. But this is a four-wheel drive vehicle, so you can set it up for yourself. But yes, this can put the power down no problem, thanks to the 8-speed automatic transmission. And oh boy, it is quite nimble, quite quick, and it really feels a lot better than the Jeep I remember it to be. So yes, you can be quite quick in a Jeep. Just make sure that you understand you're carrying or driving a really heavy vehicle. Right, so when it comes to NVH, are you kidding me? It's still a Jeep. I mean, you're basically driving around in a brick, so it basically barely has any aerodynamic features. When you're out on the highway especially, you will hear a lot of wind noise. It does have the aerodynamic features of a brick. So you've got a large all-terrain tires, 285s right there. So this road noise is definitely quite evident, to say the least. But here, because of the removable 3-piece hardtop, you can definitely hear a lot of the exterior. I mean, the noise is going to be, especially from motorcycles passing by. Well, Jeep tries its best to isolate itself from that, but yeah, it's definitely not going to be a luxury SUV. But again, I gotta commend Jeep for trying their best. The doors seem to be a lot more soundproof than the last model. The windows, most especially, they definitely have some soundproofing right there as well. So yeah, it tries its best to hide the noise, especially when I put the windows down. See, you can hear the noise from the outside. But, and again, it will still permeate itself, especially during hot days. I mean, this has no insulation. It's basically a pure fiberglass up top. So yes, you'll definitely feel a lot of the outside world inside. Driving this here, the seats are fairly upright. And that is by design, so you can easily see the overall surroundings here, especially up top right here on the hood. But that same feature also applies to the rear passengers. My picky passenger in the back there can't seem to find the perfect spot to sit down, because the seats, they're fairly they're firm, give you that, and the seats don't seem to recline that easily. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting this as a family car, you might want to relegate those rear seats to kids or smaller or people of smaller stature. So I want to jump over to the fuel economy side of things, because I know you guys are interested about that. I mean, sure, you've got the money to spend on a Rubicon or a Jeep for that matter, but I know you guys are still curious about what it makes. So in the city, get this, 6 to 7 kilometers per liter in the city. I mean, yeah, if you're not familiar with Jeeps, you might say that's still not quite as fuel efficient, but hey, that's not bad, especially when you're bringing a large hulking machine like a Jeep and a Rubicon for that fact. So this is a 4x4, and getting 67 kilometers per liter in the city is nothing short of amazing. You got to put things into perspective. Now heading out on the highway, it gets even better. You can get even up to 14 kilometers per liter on the highway. Now that's definitely something else, especially when you're driving this. It sure goes to show you that Jeep is starting to understand that bringing a car that makes around 3 to 4 kilometers per liter is not going to be acceptable. It's going to be exclusively a weekend car. They want to emphasize that this is an off-roading car that you can daily, as opposed to a daily car that you can off-road. All right, so when it comes to safety features, it's got advanced driver assist systems. Like I said earlier, it's got adaptive cruise control. I mean, it doesn't have lane keep assist though. It doesn't have 360-degree camera system, but it does have the adaptive cruise control, which I really appreciate, and I know a lot of you guys would as well. It does have a rear camera as well as a front camera. The front camera, lovingly known as the trail camera, helps you out whenever you're out there on the going off-roading, making sure that you don't have any obstacles. And it also detects obstacles on the road before you can even see it. It also has multiple airbags, ABS, electronic, the basic features, everything it has. So again, when it comes to safety, this is top-notch. You wouldn't be wanting for anything else. I do wish it does have a 360-degree camera system, but I guess that's asking too much. And besides, you won't be able to remove the doors if it has that particular feature. Another great safety feature with this one though is you got blind spot monitoring system. Jeep Philippines really didn't skimp out on the safety features. So that's our review of the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon 4x4. Try saying that 10 times fast. I'm sure you guys will fail, but what will not fail is you inside this one. I said earlier that this is the main character of cars. When you drive this down the road, it will never fail to turn a lot of heads. You're definitely going to be, of course, the main character of the road whenever you have this one, and I absolutely love it. I love the change that Jeep has implemented to this one and brought it to the modern age, and I absolutely love it. Pricing hasn't been released yet as of filming, but check out the description box below. We'll be adding it right here on top, so that we can make sure that you can buy one. I'm sure you can buy one. Go ahead. If you can afford a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon, go ahead and get one. But I want to know what you think. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below. While you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.